FOMO.
My name is Patrick J. McGinnis, and I'm a FOMO Sapiens. And since you're here, I'm going to bet that you are too. And when you're like us and Monday comes around, you don't dread the new week. No, you wake up every Monday morning knowing that this week might just be the best one yet. This is FOMOnday, the snackable show that starts your week right with hot takes, life hacks, listener mail, and even some FOMO therapy. Hey everybody, welcome to FOMOndays, the snackable companion show to FOMO Sapiens, which of course will be back on Thursday with a full episode. But until then, happy FOMOnday, best day of the week. I'm your host, Patrick J. McGinnis, venture capitalist by day, author and podcaster by night, and of course, FOMO Sapiens 24/7. Now, it's the beginning of 2023, and that means that even though you guys know I hate New Year's resolutions, I don't believe in that. It is nice to make some goals. And one of those goals should be like, how do we just live better, healthier, happier lives? And for that, I have the perfect guest, Joey Thurman. Joey has over 15 years of fitness and nutrition experience, having trained and worked alongside today's leading celebrities, A-list entrepreneurs, and everybody in between. From his time helping others, finding the right health and wellness lifestyle that fits them, it's been proven that Joey has been the number one pick for anyone looking to improve their fitness journey. And he has a new book out. It's out now. It is called The Minimum Method, the least you can do to be a stronger, healthier, and happier you. So, Joey Thurman, welcome to FOMOndays.
FOMOnday, my man. What an intro. And FOMOnday is now my best and favorite day of the week.
Thank you. Yeah, FOMOnday is like, it's, you know what it is? It's like, I'm sure you had days where you wake up on Monday and you're like, I don't want to get out of bed. FOMOnday is the Monday you like.
Ooh, I like that. That's good. You should host a show or something.
Okay, so let's get into this. So the minimum method. I mean, we like that because it sounds efficient to me. Mm-hmm. So talk about, first of all, because this book is out and I know you're excited about it and we are too, talk about the minimum method. What do you talk about in the book?
Yeah, so there's a bunch of different chapters, and you can read it front to back. You can flip open to the sleep chapter, or breathing, or nutrition, or mobility. So you can read it, and you can pick and choose. So I wanted to do this kind of like a buffet. If you're more interested in nutrition, or fitness, or sleep, you just go to that chapter. If you don't even want to read the full chapter, go to the end of it. I've got minimum mentalities, whether you're a let's go person, a level up, or a max out. So let's go, you're kind of on the couch getting ready for the starting line. You're level up, you're in that race, and max out. Maybe like somebody like myself, you're working out a bunch, but you're just looking for more. So go to the end of the chapter and you can pick from the buffet of minimum mentality habits that you can choose from. But we've got so much evidence out nowadays, we don't know where to go with the totality of it. So I kind of put that in the book with my years of experience training, millionaires, Oscar nominees, all sorts of things. I put that into one book. So maximum results with minimum effort and, whatever chapter you're reading.
Okay, so I want to get into some of these because listen, I think, I know that the people listening to this show, because I talk to them, are people who they want to win in many different aspects of their lives. Like they want balance. It's not just like, I want to be the richest person, because like, whatever, if you're rich, but you're unhealthy, what are you going to do? I mean, you can't buy your health. You have to kind of work on it every day, right? So let's get into some of the things that are in the book or that you've learned in your work that we can share with people, some tips to start the year right. Let's start with nutrition, because that one, it's like, how many candy canes can one eat during the holiday season? I broke a record. So how do we start our year right on the nutrition side?
Yeah, one thing, don't overthink it. So if you're like somebody that wants to be in that box, whether you're doing keto, plant-based, carnivore, anything like that, fine, you can go ahead and do that. For the most part, people who put themselves in the box, once they have that food that they're, abstaining from, they have something called hyperphagia and they just binge on it. Oh, I haven't had donuts in 3 months. And then you have 24 donuts and you just kind of go off the deep end there. So one of the best things that you can do is there's something called the weekday diet in here. I worked with my buddy, Dr. Bill Campbell from University of Southern Florida. And basically I'm not going to get into the nuances, but you're less calories 5 days a week and you're more calories on the weekend. And you can actually maintain more muscle tissue, increased resting metabolic rate, and you can lose just the same amount of weight as somebody that's on calorie deprivation, more calories throughout the entire week, because you got a little metabolic boost from having more calories on the weekend, or just having more whole foods. Study out of the University of Michigan saying more whole foods, fibrous foods, even on a standard American diet, you have 500 less calories a day. So have more protein, more satiating. Even if you're overeating protein, it's been proven that you are going to gain less fat. The scale may go up, but some of that is lean tissue, which part of it is lean muscle tissue. So just because that scale went up doesn't mean it's fat. Just because it went down doesn't mean it's fat. So add more protein, add more whole foods. You're probably just going to naturally eat about 500 calories less, even if you're having all those highly processed foods, which we know we should stay away from. But sometimes for maximum results, the minimum is just eating better and not taking something away.
I like that. In fact, I remember I was on the board of a company and their CEO was like doing keto or whatever. I don't know, keto or Atkins or whatever. I hate all these fad diets. And like, you know, he wouldn't eat certain things, but then they brought along like some food that, you know, he would just binge on everything else. So you're like watching this guy stuff like his gullet with all the, and it's just, first of all, it was undignified. But second of all, you're like, well, that's not healthy. Come on. Like there's no balance in that. So it's a little ridiculous. I'll tell you what, I want to introduce my food of the year for 2023, which is like it's a sleeper hit, but I hope it fits in with the sort of Whole Foods, which is farro. I am going to eat all the farro in 2023. So get ready, farro manufacturers. I'm coming for you.
Far out. See, look what I did with that. No, farro is delicious. It's kind of, it's grainy, it's nutty, it's highly fibrous. If you're not a quinoa fan, farro is a very good option as well. And then if you cook it with sauces or anything like that, it absorbs the flavor. So you're right on. I love farro, especially on some salads too. It gives a little bit of crunch to it, depending on how you're cooking it. But farro is definitely far out.
It is good and it fills you up. So okay, so we got some nutrition tips there. FOMO. Let's move into sleep, because everybody here who listens to the show knows that my big 2022 hack, which is like a life changer, was I got a weighted blanket. There's a company called Barabee that came on the pod. They sent me a weighted blanket, and I swear to God, like I don't even, just weighted blanket. That is an amazing thing to have, but I'm sure you have more for us than that. So what is a good tip on sleep?
Yeah, besides the weighted blanket, which is like a bunch of babies hugging you at night, which is wonderful, by the way. So your day sets up your night. So start the sleep. Really, what you do for the day is going to set up melatonin production, which melatonin isn't just something from a bottle. Melatonin production and adenosine, which works in conjunction with melatonin. So get up in the morning, try to rise with the sunlight if you can. In the winter, it's a little bit harder, but get some high bright light in your eyes as soon as possible. If the sun is out, roll down your windows when you're driving. Do that. That'll regulate your circadian rhythm there. And then as you're going on throughout the day, then your melatonin knows when to increase. Stare at the setting sun at night, preferably. That right there will trigger your body thinks, oh, the sun is going down. Let me increase melatonin. Adenosine keeps rising. That's really going to be great for you. So setting that up, going to bed at the same time every night and waking up at the same time within an hour. So I know on the weekends people want to like stay up a little bit later. Say you go to bed at 10 o'clock, Sunday through Thursday. Maybe Friday and Saturday you go to bed at 11 o'clock and you get up around the same time, maybe an hour later. So then you start regulating that, so you don't need to take any sleep supplements or anything like that. So regulate that circadian rhythm will regulate your endocrine, your hormonal system. You'll crave less bad calories the next day. You'll have less stress. You'll be more resilient to stress. You'll have less body fat. And you'll have more testosterone, estrogen ratios, all sorts of things just from regulating that sleep. So that day is going to set up the night, and just focus on that. It's going to be one of the best things you can do. And try to stay away from caffeine in the afternoon, because even though you don't feel it and you think you're going to sleep, you're going to have lighter stages of sleep. So you're not going to get that deep restful sleep or that rapid eye movement, that REM sleep, which helps increase cerebral spinal fluid to your brain, which kind of clears out the plaque in your brain.
Okay, you said two things there I want to hit on because they're important. Number one is on the caffeine kind of thing. So one thing that I like to do is because I used to drink 5 cups of coffee a day, which was not a good idea. Now I don't do that. I have one, but I love tea. But I choose an herbal tea or just plain old hot water. And especially that's really good for you in the wintertime and stuff like that. But like get into the herbal teas, like get something nice. Like it's a small investment. It's way cheaper than a cup of coffee, by the way. So get yourself some nice tea. Number two, this is a hack I never heard before, so I just want to kind of call it out, which is this idea of look at the setting sun or the rising sun, which is a great idea. First of all, just because it's good to appreciate humanity, or I guess the fact that we live on this crazy planet, but then also that does kind of like have a sort of physiological effect. I am going to ask you a dumb question. I feel safe with you, which is, what if you have your sunglasses on? Do you have to take the sunglasses off?
Yes, take them off. Yes, take them off, because that will block the lux rays. Same thing if you're driving in your car. So when I'm driving in the morning downtown Chicago, I'll roll down the windows if the sun is coming up. So I'm getting the light in my periphery. Obviously, if it's so sunny and you're driving and you need the sunglasses to see, we don't want to get into a wreck here. But take the sunglasses off. You don't need to stare directly at the sun, because that light is getting in your eyes. If it's cloudy out, it may take a little bit longer. I just say 5 to 10 minutes in the morning. And if you could walk too, especially in the cold, that'll ramp up your metabolic rate, because your core temperature is colder. So it's trying to elevate. So that's going to elevate your metabolic rate, lower inflammation, and in turn increase brown fat and beige fat, which is the good fat. So you're killing two birds. So it's truly minimal effort, as you can see, hence why we're putting all these things in there. So take off the sunglasses as much as possible if you can, because that's going to block some of those rays. If you have to have them on, fine.
I like the fact you mentioned being outdoors too, because having grown up in Maine, like one thing I love to do, this is a transition to the fitness hack. One little hack I have is, and I like go outside in the cold and exercise in the cold, because your body just has to like, it's great for your body in so many different ways, including, in calorie burning and stuff like that. But, in the wintertime, obviously you don't want to run on this icy surface or something, but lean into the cold weather. It's really wonderful. So that's my little fitness hack and I'm going to do that. But what is your fitness hack for the new year?
Well, I think that's amazing right there. I always say hat and gloves before sweater will make you look better. So if you're in Maine, so you obviously cover the parts that, are more susceptible. You don't want to be, get into dangerous territories there with your extremities. Yeah. But yes, try to wear like a t-shirt or something. So embrace the cold for a little bit. You can do that. Working out in the cold is amazing. Taking 10-minute walks after your meals is a prokinetic. Increases digestion, lowers the insulin response of your meals. It's very similar to the number one diabetic drug, metformin. And it also will help the bioavailability, so the nutrient absorption of your food. And if you can, walk backwards while doing so. Walking backwards strengthens your VMO, the muscle of your quad right by your knee, closest to your knee. So then that helps knee health. If you can do that, that is amazing. 10-minute walks 3 times a day. Sesame Street math here, Patrick. That's 30 minutes of activity in an entire day that you got. And we look at research there. High amounts of lower risk of mortality just from 30 minutes of moderate activity per day, 1,500 to 1,600 paces, steps per that 10 to 15 minute walk. And then throw in some weight training. Everybody should do weight training, whether it's resistance training with your body weight or lifting a full body workout, 5 to 10 reps per body part. Whether that's 1 workout or 2 workouts per week, at a minimum, that is going to help your longevity, bone health, osteoporosis. You don't fall down, break a hip. That's one of the number one things that you can do without even changing your eating habits or anything like that. Working out, lifting weights will help the cardio, because you don't stop breathing when you're lifting. People forget about that.
Yeah, it's all about compounding, man. I think this is the really good point. Like whether it's an investment or in money or in yourself. Like I look at my dad. My dad is, he's in his late 70s. He's the only one of his friends who can do a lot of, like, he walks, he plays golf, he looks amazing. Why? Because over the years, he was always active and he was always taking care of himself. And so it really pays to start now, starting small. Like everything you're saying in here is stuff that like anybody can do. You don't need money to do it. I mean, you just got to get started now. FOMO. Now, I do want to ask you a question. You just hit one of my FOMO triggers, so I'll admit it. Metformin. It sounds like just we should all be taking it. I've heard people say that, and it's very trendy, and it's like, but at the same time, I know, because I've lived on this planet Earth, that all these things that everybody says are so amazing, they're going to make you perfect without doing any work. Some of them maybe are great, but some of them are, dangerous and have side effects and stuff. So like metformin, for those of you who don't know, is a drug that is given to diabetics, but people say that it can be given to everybody, and it really like is going to magically make you live forever. What's the story there? Unpack that.
Yeah, so my buddy David Sinclair, who kind of like made metformin really popular when he wrote Lifespan, I met him several years ago when I interviewed him when I was doing my podcast at Harvard Med, and he was talking about that. And offline, I said, okay, so you're taking metformin, but metformin is limiting mTOR production, and mTOR helps with adding muscle tissue. So if you're taking that, that's going to be a hindrance, correct? And he said, yeah. He goes, actually, on days that I lift weights, and he uses a trainer, I think, a couple of days a week, he doesn't take metformin. So you're looking at one of the top, longevity experts in the world who knows that. And one of the things that actually will kill people faster when they fall and break a hip, I alluded to that, but adding muscle tissue, and we become sarcopenic, so we're muscle wasting. That right there, that I'm looking at that metformin and thinking, oh man, I don't know if that's something that everybody should be taking, because cellular autophagy, where we're getting rid of these senescent cells, or they call say zombie cells, these bad cells in our body, that can increase that. You can help that with fasting, with working out. It's not just taking this pill to fix every ill. Berberine has some, it's like, the cheap man's metformin, which kind of has similar effects to that. So I'd say if you are going to do that, like let's look at things contextually based. Maybe you take that, and maybe you take, metformin or berberine when days that you're not resistance training. So because you want to maximize that acute inflammatory response to add muscle tissue, and you don't want to hinder it. You're already putting the work in the gym. Why would you want to hinder it? It's like I tell my clients, they're paying me several $100s for a training session. Why would you go and waste all of that money by having a bad diet, not sleeping, doing whatever? So let's look at all of these things at a contextual base. Are you doing all the lifestyle things? Are you doing everything that you can? You probably don't need to be taking the metformin. Leave that ace up your sleeve in case you need to do it later on in life. And then blood work and all that sort of stuff. Like, we can go ahead and do that. You have the means, great. But most people, you regulate that sleep, you take care of the nutrition, you lift weights 2-3 days a week, and you're walking right there. That's going to take care of a lot of your issues.
It's amazing. I can hear millions of people right now Googling berberine.
I am not paid by any berberine company, but if you're listening, I will take your money.
All right, everybody. So if you want to find out more about Joey Thurman, you can find him on Instagram at Joey Thurman Fit. The name of the new book is The Minimum Method, the least you can do to be stronger, healthier, and happier you. It is out right now.
Right now.
And you go check it out. It's going to be a lot of fun, and it's going to help you, I think, just get more done with less. Joey Thurman, thanks so much for being here.
My friend, FOMOnday, rock on.
FOMO. If you like today's show, please be sure to rate it and recommend it to your friends. And as always, you can find me on Instagram at Patrick J. McGinnis, on Twitter at PJ McGinnis, and on the web at FOMOsapiens.com or PatrickMcGinnis.com, where you can get all kinds of free resources to live a more decisive and entrepreneurial life. FOMO. Want more FOMO Sapiens and FOMOnday? Head over to FOMOsapiens.com, where you can listen to past episodes, learn more about the show, and find out how to advertise. You can also connect with me on Instagram at Patrick J. McGinnis and on Twitter at PJ McGinnis.